All right. Welcome back, everyone. Episode 15. Would you believe it? We are at episode 15 now. Wow. No, no. What was an idea? And we've passed as well, Mark. Just to that be clear, past the 1,000 download mark. So we've had 1,000 downloads on our podcast now, which is because it's just a passion project. It's literally just a passion project. It's something that we just came together, 2023, and here we are. It's taken us 15 episodes, but but we made it. We've made 1,000
3 years.
downloads. So thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
15 episodes in 3 years. We're consistent, if not anything.
yeah, hell yeah. No, thank you everyone, because I have also received some really nice messages this week from people out the blue, just randomly sharing love and appreciation for our recent podcast. We've had gained a load of new followers as well from obviously having Ella on as well. We've got more exciting guests lined up. Just thank you again for listening to us banging on about all things health, how the world's operating, food. We're going to deep dive into something a bit different today for you guys because it's come up on our radar quite often. But yeah, just want to thank you. It really means a lot.
It does.
But today we've got a special episode for you because I'm going to pick the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mark, on all things peptides because it is the recent craze. It is the recent buzz in recent years. What once was just a biohacking realm has now opened up everyone's eyes with the whole Mounjaro, Ozempic, weight loss GLP-1s are on the market, but it goes far more deeper than that. So we're going to really have a blast of this today, highlighting the pros, the cons, and actually what we were talking off air, weren't we, Mark, with what is actually happening in the peptide space with big pharma trying to shut all this shit down as well, and what you guys can do to move forward, because these are amazing medicines if you get the foundations right, which we're gonna deep dive into, and obviously highlighting again the pros and the horrific consequences if you get this wrong. So Mark, are you ready?
I'm ready, brother.
Yeah, but it's good to see you, man, and hope you've been well.
Thank you.
So what have you been up to before we deep dive into this? What have you been doing recently?
So, as we're talking off air, a lot of business shifts for me. For anybody that doesn't know, I own a peptide company and I own a red light company. So there's been big shifts for me with that because I came into this space 2015, 2016. So first red light was like 2016, first peptides were 2016. And then it was all kind of like difficult to get hold of, Reddit forum, not for the red lights, but for like, there wasn't that many companies selling them. So I had to get mine imported. But like, the peptide thing was just Reddit forums, basically, like the same way that you'd get PEDs. You'd have to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows a site that you can get it from, all that kind of stuff. And recently, I've just started noticing the trend that everything's kind of going back that way. It's just becoming too readily available, and there's just too much out there. Like the amount of peptide companies that have popped up in the last 6 months is insane. So just looking at it from a business perspective, like what we were going to do. So we've had that business pivot. Opened up a school group. Myself and one of my business partners run a peptide company. He's one of the probably UK and Europe's leading sales closers that there is. He's won tons of awards.
Mm.
And we realized there was a space in the community where we could help people like him, because that's what I did with him for 3 years, is I've helped him basically make more money and
Yeah.
and improve his life. And that's where we thought, well, there are other people in this industry, in his industry, that want that. So let's give it to them. So that's what we've built out. It's been a very big push. 7 days a week working, building out school groups, building out protocols. We got 6 guys in within like 24 hours. So it just shows you that the market's there.
Yeah.
And we've now got I think 12 or 13 people in, and we're getting more. Now it's my turn to do the bit that I do, which is their labs, their gut tests.
Yeah.
Their neurotransmitter Braverman tests, all that stuff, like doing all that analysis, giving them what they need for their life to be better, so they can perform optimally from call 1 to call 10. Because it's as like when you're on calls with clients, if you've got like 4 or 5 calls lined up in a day, you need to show up on call 5 with the same energy and vibrancy and willingness and energy as you did on call 1, no matter how tired you're feeling. you need to give that client the same level of treatment because it's not their fifth, sixth, seventh call, it's yours. So you have to
Yes.
treat them the same way. So I've been building that out, which has been good. Had a couple of health things with myself which needed to get sorted. So that's kind of, it's on its way. It's working now and everything's kind of stabilizing, which is good. Um, Reducing training down so I can focus more on work. Yeah, that's kind of me, dude. What about you? What have you been up to?
Exciting, very exciting. Yeah, similar to you, we've had I don't, we always have peaks and troughs, don't we, in the health and fitness space. So I always find that winter tend to find that we slow down a little bit, we sort of rebuild, rethink, and sometimes you can think of that as a sort of things aren't working. What do we do? What do we do? But if anything, it's taught me to sort of actually, take a bit of a step back, reflect on the whole year as a whole, and let the universe, everything else, just guide you into the next few steps. So we've had a very very busy February, which I'm very blessed with. Again, 5 lovely amazing people come on board under the wing. So we've been helping them through looking at their blood work. We've had a few that have joined us for our coaching, which is always nice. We don't tend to like advertise for what I do. It's more word of mouth. But I don't very rarely open up a lot of spaces for what we do, and had the opportunity to have space for people to join us, and they were filled very quickly, which I'm very grateful for. But interesting what's come up in people's health in the world of 2026 and this month. So some of the especially from being in the UK, because these clients have been in the UK, a couple travel. One of them travels with one of the biggest artists right now. There's like a tour manager, very very different lifestyle to what me and you lead, which has been interesting. But it highlights like just how traveling can put real big stress, like flying that is, and living different time zones can really really buck your health. And seeing that for through blood work and through what we do, and we're doing things the right way now, which is fixing the foundations, and that's kind of possibly where it will lead off from. Really, this conversation with the whole peptide world, because if you don't have like the foundations, and with your busy schedule, and I've noticed this with feeling a little bit run down, working the weekends, and burning the candle at both ends, shall we say, is your foundations are paramount, aren't they? Really, of getting fresh air, getting into the sunlight, despite what of it being 55 days of rain in the UK at the minute. We had one really good day this week of
It was like
sun.
2 days ago. We had beautiful
Yeah.
sunshine, 17 degrees. Next day it was like 7 degrees and rain again. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, but again, highlights, doesn't it? Like the importance of like the foundations of having good sleep, resting, and really getting your food right as well. And that sets like the foundational pillars for everything else. But that's kind of like what I've been doing, training, like you, very different to what I have been doing, which I'm enjoying. Very, very different approach, which I've actually really enjoyed because it's shortened my workout time down, and I've built an enormous amount of strength as well, and size. I can see it, like my clothes, not fitting anymore, and that's not a bad thing. Like not round the waistline, but round sort of shoulders and chest and stuff. So, and legs as well, and jeans and chinos. But yeah, it's been a really good few months. Because it's been a few weeks since we last caught up since Ella's podcast, and but yeah, blessed either way, and I'm grateful we're going to go into spring now. So I don't know about you, but I was kind of a bit fed up with the winter and the darkness. It was all right for the first 2 months, but yeah,
I don't mind it. I just think we've just been a bit unfortunate with our weather, where it's been grey, dark, cold, wet, and windy. Like I don't mind rain and I don't mind wind. I just don't like them at the same time because
yeah,
it drops the temperature a lot. And I don't know if the listeners from the UK have noticed this as well, but the greyness has been incredibly dark. Like
mm,
the lux, the brightness of outside has been incredibly dark, and it just makes going outside less attractive because theoretically you'd need to be out there for longer to get the same benefits as what you would if it was brighter. So
Yeah.
even for me, somebody that goes outside all the time, I've been finding my light breaks just haven't been enough for that circadian rhythm kind of like
Mm.
signal. But luckily now that the fact that we're getting closer now to spring, so the sunrise is getting earlier, the sunset's getting later. I'm not looking forward to the time change. You know, I don't know if people know this, but this
Dumb,
plus
isn't it?
yeah, this plus 1 hour change in the UK, there's actually a lot of clinical human data that show that it causes quite a lot of changes in the human body when we lose an hour and all of a sudden the clocks have shifted into daylight savings. You get more cardiovascular risk and all those other types of things, get more depression, other stuff like that, because it's not supposed to be like that. Like the timing that we're on right now in winter is actually what we're supposed to be on. We're supposed to be on this all year round. We're not supposed to be in this extra 1 hour, which they say is for farmers. It's like, yeah, well, that's great, but farmers have got lights on their tractors. They don't need the extra
Mm.
sunlight in the morning anymore. Who needs sunrise coming up at 4 in the fucking morning, like, and going down at like 10, quarter past 10 at night? Like, that's insane. It should be 5 in the morning and going down at 9. That's much easier. But anyway, we digress off that one. So I just think it's felt a very long and dark winter. I think I don't think it's been that cold, like massively cold. Like I don't mind the cold, so I don't think it's been that bad. But I just think it's been the dampness. Just
Yeah.
55 days of just constant rain and everything's flooded and the roads are all potholed even worse now, and everywhere where you walk it's just a quagmire of just mud and wet, and it's not pleasant at all. You know, it's like this is like a great advert for come and live in the UK, because not only do we have the worst weather, but we have the most incompetent people that run the country. So yeah, come and live here. It's great. You're going to get taxed to the wazoo. You're not going to be able to go anywhere soon because they're going to want a 15-minute city everything. You're not going to be able to travel. The pound's worth fuck all. You know, you go to the supermarket and spend 50 quid and come out with two things. Yeah, great. Great. Awesome. So yeah, come live in the UK.
Yeah. Yeah. Now peptides.
Yeah. Massive segue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peptides.
Yeah. No, I agree, and it's very easy. I slipped into a slippery slope over Christmas. Well, at the tail end of Christmas, in January, and that's I think what they want. They want you to be, you know, dropping down the energy frequency sheet a little bit. You know, bit angry, bit of frustration. When you know when your emotions are high, your intelligence is low, right? Your decision making, you do stupid shit, you buy more stuff, you become a consumer of the media and consumer of shit you don't need. And I was doing that because the light information outside, it was dark, it's grey, it drives you into more of a, you know,
Hermit mode, isn't it?
yeah, hermit mode, but also, you know, a bit more emotional, you know, and that is why where this spring shift, and I agree, daylight savings is literally the dumbest thing ever that we still do, even to this day. The risk of even I was reading the other day, like the increased risk of cardiovascular accidents, but also accidents on the road, like insurance companies pay out. So we'll bring that data out, and how you can optimize through that in a couple of weeks, because we haven't got far away until that
No, I think
shifts.
it's like the 26th, is it, or 20 something of March when it changes?
Yeah, yeah, literally a couple of weeks. So
Equinox is like the 20th, and then I think it's like the Sunday after that when the clocks shift or something. I know it's the end of March, but like 28th, 29th of March. That's when it shifts.
yeah, so yeah, be prepared, guys. But we'll be here guiding you for the steps of what to do to get on time, get into a bit of a rhythm, as they say.
I was just
But
thinking,
no.
I might just like not change my clocks and just live my life as if the clocks don't change. See what happens.
Hi, Mark. I booked in for a call with you, but I think I don't know if I booked in
Yeah,
the right time.
I'll just have
You're
to
not on
imagine
my time.
everybody's ahead of me. So if they book in at 6, it's actually 5 o'clock. Well, if they book in at
Yeah,
5, it's actually 4 o'clock my time. Like I just have to
yeah,
figure that out. But yeah, I don't want
yeah,
to change it. I can't be bothered with it. I'd rather
yeah. I can see
just
that you're not on my time. So when you're on my time, we can have the call.
yeah, you're an hour late.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, but
see how long I can mentally handle that hour difference before I get lost in everything.
yeah. But no, like we will like again. I think it's very important to get perspective, and and why we share wisdom on this, because it is easy to get swept up in the BS, isn't it? But what are the sort of the exciting things that are happening right now with the whole health and fitness space, you know, like being in 2026 is coming on leaps and bounds. And more of our clients are asking, you know, about peptides, what they are. So, you know, if you have got the foundations built, guys, and you listen to this, like you've got, you know, you're doing things consistently well, you're already having exercise program to follow, you are possibly supplementing, you might have even had your blood work done, and you're now leveling up, as I call it, your character. Like you're sort of we're a level 1 noob, and you're now sort of rising the ranks to level 10. You know, like you've got a bit about you, and you're sort of thinking now, is it worth me doing peptides? You know, and there's no better person really to talk to than the man that I'm talking to right now, Mark, because he's one who has a peptide business company, which you know is amazing. He's helped guide me through using the right ones as well. When I had some awful, nasty like parasite infection, and how to clear that up with them, and the exact same stack that I use, but we'll go a little bit into why you shouldn't copy someone else's peptide stack and why it's very important that you know you should personalize all this to begin with. But also just tell it like again, Mark, um, a little bit about what peptides are, like you know, because I feel like myself and others included just need a bit of a refresh in like what they do, what they are, and how they can really benefit our health, dude.
Okay. So we'll keep it nice and simple because peptides, if you actually go into all the mechanism of actions and what they're actually doing inside the body, it's incredibly complicated. So I don't want to make it one of these things where people just switch off because that then just kind of defeats the point of this conversation. So everything that you consume, food, like all that stuff, it all gets broken down into the body into amino acids, into chains of specific amino acids, and that's how the body knows what they are. So spinach has a different amino acid chain to kale, and beef has a different amino acid chain to chicken, and so on. The differencing factor between peptides and that, or like an essential amino acid drink, or BCAAs, or whatever else that you want to look at, is they have, imagine like in between the amino acids, they're holding hands. Those holding hands are bonds. And what makes the peptides is they have a peptide bond. That's it. So you can have, for anything to be kind of like classically named a peptide, it's like 48 amino acid chain or less. Anything that's above that would be more like a protein, I guess you could class it as. The only one that's a different thing to that would be like human growth hormone. That's 190, anywhere from like 175 to 191 amino acids in length. But that's still not, it's classically not a peptide, but it is a peptide at the same time. Insulin is the first peptide that got kind of synthesized as well. Most people don't know that either. That's basically what peptides are. And they go all the way down to 2 to 4 chains of amino acids. And these are known as bioregulator peptides. They're a completely different thing. So we'll separate those two at the moment because they're not the ones that a lot of people know about, even though they are, in my opinion, the more powerful ones and the better ones. But general cellular signaling peptides. So basically what's happening is they're going into the body, into the cells, DNA, RNA, mRNA, message being sent out, do these things. Now, what is good about peptides is the majority, and there are going to be some that aren't this way, but the majority are a synthetic version of something that has been found within the body somewhere. So if we use like BPC as an example, BPC, and again, I can't remember the exact date, but I think it was like 1989 or something like that. BPC 15, well, not BPC 157, but BPC, body protective compound, was found within the gastric juices in the lab, and they synthesized it, got the amino acid chain, synthesized it, and then they had BPC 157.
Wow.
Now, this is a naturally occurring thing inside the body. You've also got something called thymosin beta 4. Thymosin beta 4 is a peptide fragment, 43 amino acids, that comes from the thymus. That's then broken, and there's a lot of confusion between thymosin beta 4 and TB500. Classically, thymosin beta 4 is the full fragment. You then have, say the full fragment, the full form. The fragment versions are then what are known as TB500. That's kind of how I've understood this and what has been put in the literature. TB500 isn't always the full 43 amino acid chain. Sometimes it's 17, sometimes it's 12, sometimes it's 20. It just depends on the mechanism of action of what you're looking to do. The bigger the peptide, the harder it would be for the body to process it outside of an injection. That's the best way to look at it. So you can get these fragments which basically allow it to be more bioavailable. So it can be used intranasally, it could be used topically, it could be used orally. But the majority are going to be subcutaneous because the bioavailability of that peptide is going to be 90, 95, 99% because it's straight into the system through the subcutaneous layer. So if you've got your epidermis, you're going in through that, into that layer, injecting it in, and now it's in the system. And then it's going to get absorbed and it's going to go systemic, literally like that. Orally, it's got to go through the digestive system. It won't be broken down in the gastric juices. It'll go into the system and then disperse. So nasally, obviously, it's got to go through the blood-brain barrier into the brain, cerebrospinal fluid, down into the system. So there's caveats to all these things. So that's basically what peptides are, is they are just chains of amino acids, building blocks of something that the body needs to do.
Basically, they have like, a manager and he's calling his worker force up.
Yes.
Telling them what to do within the body. Basically it. Yeah.
And if we again keep using BPC as an example, as we get older, the production of BPC in the gastric juices goes down. So therefore, supplementing with it would make sense if you want to get those same effects. It's the same with growth hormone, or whether you're using the growth hormone secretagogues like CJC1295 or ipamorelin or tesmorelin or hexarelin or any of the other Ellens that you've got, other than Ellen DeGeneres, don't use her. I heard something about her this morning and that popped into my mind. I was like,
I love it. It's how our minds work, man.
Not the people eater. We don't Anyway, digressing massively. Again, I don't know if that's true. It's just something that somebody posted on.
Brilliant.
On the file tweet things that I saw. But I digress. So yeah, they're all naturally occurring, okay, in the body. And all we're doing then is we are replacing them through injection, oral, nasal, whatever. And how you use them is obviously going to be dependent on what you're looking, or what ones you use are going to be dependent on what you're looking to do. Because I'll get everybody come to me, what's the best one? Well, for what? That's like saying, what's the best exercise? For what?
How long's a piece of string?
Right? Specificity matters, context matters.
Yeah.
So yes, I think foundations, like, and when I say foundations, I don't mean like get your blood work done, I mean like foundations of how a human should move and live. They need to be in there. But if somebody doesn't have all those things set up and they come to me and they ask me a question saying like, I've got this problem, what should I take? I can't give them tailored advice because I don't know them. But from just the guidelines, I can say to them, I would suggest you go to Google and just be like BPC 157 because I've got this gut issue, or I've got this injury. Just Google it. Find out all you can about it, because that's the one that I would probably say to you, like, if you've got a bit of that shoulder niggle that's not going away, BPC 157, utilize that.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to have foundations in place like everything, because if you desperately need it, it'd be like the doctor, you going to the doctor saying, right, I've got this problem, and they're going, right, well, there is a medication for it, but you don't go outside and you don't walk and you don't eat well, so you can't have it. It would be a little bit, right? So I'm a little bit careful with how I look at that, but I do agree. I do think like the actual foundations of how you should be a human being should be in place before you start playing with these things. And just one caveat to this that I want to stipulate, because it's something which there's two parts of this that I want to talk about. Firstly, they are not supplements.
No.
They are not supplements. You cannot just go and buy a shit ton of them and just start injecting. It doesn't work like that. They're not supplements where you can just go and buy vitamin A and vitamin C and zinc and boron and just start taking the capsules, and you could literally just get a handful and swallow them. It's not like that. They're not like supplements. If you take peptides like supplements, good luck. You know where to find me. You've got all my socials. When you are a complete dumpster fire, come and find me, and I will then explain to you why you are a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
The other side of it is this. and this is something which myself and one of our mutual friends have spoken about quite heatedly recently, and I'm just going to state this. I don't get angry about things because I don't believe anger is the serving purpose here. But what I do have is a tolerance to stupidity. If you are a influencer and you are watching this show or listening to this show and you take peptides, if you cannot get on a call with me and explain the mechanism of action of what that peptide does, what the bond structure is, you don't have to know the amino acids, but how many are there, and the potential positives and negatives to taking that thing, you have absolutely no right to go on Instagram or X or any other social media site and say, look how amazing I am. This is my peptide stack. This is what I recommend. You're not a peptide therapist. They are not fucking supplements which will not necessarily do any harm. Do not go on Instagram and start giving people your stack because it works for you. Just because you've taken a peptide doesn't mean you know peptides. And just because you take a peptide doesn't mean that you have the God-given right to explain to other people how to do it and what dosages to take. One of our mutual friends who buys from me, he is also a peptide therapist. We've done the same course. When he posts things, he says, this is my stack, this is what I take, and this is why I'm taking this amount. Do not copy me. This is for me. Because I have done X, Y, and Z to know that I need this at this time, at this dose. It would theoretically be classed as a medication if coming from a compounding pharmacy. That should say everything that you need to know about all of that. That's like going online saying, take this medication, take this medication, take this medication, and this medication, but I'm not a doctor. I'm just a glorified influencer who's got either a good bum or a nice six-pack. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
It is not cool to be doing those things. And guys, if you are following, because I've got clients who are very well versed in their own functional medicine space, who will message me and say to me, look at this Instagram follower. Do you think this stack will work for me? And again, I'm not highlighting it as being a female. This was just the one that I got sent yesterday.
Yeah.
A very attractive woman, living the life of luxury, out in Dubai somewhere, got all the money in the world. This is my peptide stack for this and this. This is what I recommend that you take. This is how much I think you should take.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what are you doing? No, you can't be doing that because there needs to be context. There needs to be nuance. And the reason why that is because mechanistically, so the mechanism of action of every peptide is the same, female or male. It doesn't matter who you are. The mechanism of action is exactly the same. If you took a GLP-1 and I took the same one, the mechanism of action of what it does in your body is the same as what it does in mine. However, your threshold and tolerance to that peptide is different to mine.
Sure.
And I'll explain this, right? So everybody knows Ozempic. That is a peptide called semaglutide. Everyone knows Mounjaro and Wegovy. They are tirzepatide, the next double agonist GLP-1. You've then got the third stage, which is known as retatrutide. This is a triple agonist. So you've got the GLP, the GIP, and glucagon receptor. That's what makes it triple agonist.
Okay.
I've tried it. My business partner has tried it. We are both men. We are both on TRT. We both live a very similar lifestyle when it comes to food choices, supplementation, quantum biology, all that stuff, because I've trained him. He knows what to do.
Mark, sorry to interrupt. Is that you're just saying that you're taking the retatrutide?
Yeah, I tried it.
Yeah.
I tried it.
Not the semaglutide, Ozempic, or
No, I
the
don't take Ozempic.
tirzepatide.
Again,
Yeah.
when you're taking the pharmaceutical version, okay, so we'll pin that for a second.
Okay.
Big Pharma cannot patent a peptide, which is naturally occurring within the body. So the only way they can patent it is through the delivery mechanism. Well, they can't patent that because that's a peptide pen. They've been around for years, since like 1960. So what do they have to do? Well, they have to add things to the peptide to make it theirs. And they're called like adjuvants or additives. So they can add unnecessary things into it. That's what they do. That's why Ozempic is not called semaglutide, because they've added
Yeah.
extra things into it. A little bit
Yeah.
like when you look at a really good magnesium product and it's literally just elemental magnesium and then the capsule and then maybe something which keeps it from degrading. And then you look at a cheap one from Holland and Barrett where it's the same level of magnesium, but it's now got 30 things that have been added into it
Yeah.
because it now needs emulsifiers and yada, 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 right?
Baking powder and
There we go. They're
baking
just
agent. Yeah.
bulking it out, basically.
Sure. Sure.
That's what Big Pharma has to do with peptides to make them patentable. They can't patent the peptide. So this is why I'm like, don't go for Ozempic and that. Go for the pure peptide because that's all you need. You don't need the added crap that goes with it. You can get semaglutide in a pen, no problem. But just don't, the Ozempic stuff, again, I'm not a big fan of all that stuff. So retatrutide actually isn't out. It's not available. It's in stage 2 of FDA trials, if I remember correctly. But they're actually focusing more on the new oral versions that are coming out, which is a different topic altogether.
Okay. Yeah.
So, my business partner, he can take retatrutide up to 3 to 4 milligrams per week. He gets none of the side effects. He gets no, because when you're taking these GLP-1s, you don't want to take it to a point where you are getting movement reduction. You don't want to be taking it to the point where you're now not pooing for 3-4 days. That is not the idea. You take it to the point where you get mild appetite suppression, where you don't eat as much. That's all you take it for. You don't take it till you can't poo for like a week, because all that's going to happen is all the food that's in the gut and the feces that's there is just going to sit and ferment. That's just going to create SIBO. We don't want that, right? So I said to him, keep going until you get the appetite suppression, but not the bowel change. His was like 3 or 4 milligrams. Mine, 400 micrograms. 400 micrograms, so not even half a milligram, 4,000 micrograms. Huge difference in tolerance. When I went past 400, I got headaches, my bowel movements changed, and I just felt bloated and uncomfortable as hell. So I know I can't take Retta. It doesn't do me any good whatsoever. Where his tolerance was way higher. This is why when people come to me and they want to start on something like retatrutide or tirzepatide or semaglutide, I'm like, we are microdosing this shit until we reach your threshold. Once you reach that threshold, we back off to the dose just prior and we stay there. And that's what we work on. Because that's all you need. You don't need to blast yourself to the moon. And this is the problem again when you go to GPs and they're like, right, I want you starting on 2.5 milligrams. Are you nuts? Are you mad?
Yeah.
That's like starting your first try on coffee with 7 espressos.
Yes. Yeah. It's so common though, Mark, isn't it? It's so funny you say this because this is one of the things that I wanted to highlight in today's podcast as well, because they are the two most common that in the UK are being taken, by a lot of people. They do have an amazing results. Don't get me wrong. However, they come with some cons. They come with some side effects, and they most of the doctors and GPs, they also have a financial incentive when they prescribe these two peptide pens with all the lovely stuff with them. So they basically work on the fact that it's a mechanism, isn't it, Mark? So GLP-1 receptors, there's a receptor in the brain that we already have. So it works on that mechanism, doesn't it, Mark? And just so we are talking about that, how does that mechanism work for those who don't know? Because I know there's people who listen to this that have been on these peptides and don't know how the mechanism actually works. So if we were to backtrack a little bit about the influencers versus sort of the coaches in our realm that are doing the right thing, whereas the ones that are just, telling everyone what they're taking and using it as gospel without looking at the repercussions and the actual singular dosage. How do these mechanisms work, Mark, the GLP-1s?
I'm just going to explain this really simply because depending on the GLP that we're talking about, there's either a single, double, or triple agonism going on. So I'm just going to talk about Ozempic because it's the singular. It's the one which everybody's going on because of what it does, right? As you say, we have our natural GLP-1 secretion in our body. This is then, so if we look at like hunger and satiety signals. Ghrelin makes you hungry. Leptin makes you have satiety. That's as similar as those two are. Leptin is a master hormone. Ghrelin is not. Leptin resistance, low leptin, precedes insulin resistance, diabetes. So if you are suppressing leptin too much, you are therefore increasing your chance of becoming diabetic. GLP-1s aren't suppressing leptin, they are increasing leptin because they are increasing that satiety hormone.
Leptin resistance.
It can become leptin resistance if you have too much, the same way that if you have too much insulin, you have insulin resistance because the body can't handle too much at that level. So mechanistically, all that's happening here is you are taking something which is synthetically increasing the GLP-1 release signal so that your body thinks that you're full. That's as simple as it needs to be. Okay? It is increasing the GLP-1 release, so therefore you're getting that signal which says I am full, I do not need to eat. And this is how you then forget to eat for most of the day until you remember that it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So like when I was on retatrutide, I had to remember that it was breakfast, lunch, or dinner, otherwise I wouldn't eat because it just went out of my mind.
Yeah.
So I was only eating twice a day because breakfast is the first circadian signal other than light that I give my body. So after I've seen light, I have breakfast.
Yeah.
That I remembered to do, but I wasn't hungry. I just ate because I knew I needed to eat. The next meal wouldn't be till dinner time because could literally go all day and I wouldn't eat anything. So that is theoretically the mechanism of action of what GLP-1 is doing. However, you can stimulate this yourself with a simple thing, right? Because what we're aiming for with GLP-1 is satiety. One of the most satiating foods, actually I'm going to rephrase that, the most satiating food that you can eat is an apple. If you ate a whole apple 30 minutes before your dinner, I guarantee you won't eat all of your dinner because that apple is so dense in nutrients and fiber that when it hits the system, GLP-1 is released instantly. Not at a high enough level where it blocks everything, but at a high enough level where you feel kind of up to the upper stomach full, which means you will then not eat all of your dinner. So if you don't want to go on GLP-1s because you don't want to inject yourself, then you do something called a preload. An apple or an orange before your meal by about 15 to 30 minutes will reduce how much of your meal that you will eat preceding that. That is the simple way of stimulating GLP-1. But that is basically what these GLP-1s are doing. They are just increasing the signal so that way then you are feeling satiated and you don't eat food. So,
and then Mark, the Manjaro is different, right? That's tirzepatide, right?
Yep.
Slightly different. It works on GLP-1. But does it work on we call GIP receptors as well?
GIP as well, yeah.
Yeah, because this is why we wanted to highlight it when it comes to choosing the right peptides. Is look at the pros and look at the cons. Yes, they're getting some amazing results. I've seen first and foremost one of my clients that has been on the semaglutide. That has helped him aid 75 kilos of his mass to be dropped. So he's lost 75 kilos, which is a tremendous life-changing result. However, I would like to highlight as well, it does come with some risks as well that we both knew we knew this from the beginning, and hence why I've said multiple times you need to take breaks, but you also need to be possibly leaning towards the potent, more purest forms of peptides, which we will have talked about off air. But anyway, where am I going with it? We've also highlighted the risks of these peptides as well. And one thing that doesn't get discussed is the weight that people lose on these peptides because they're all you're doing is sending a signal to stop eating, which reduces your overall calorie intake. Hooray. Shuts down the brain noise, which I get for some people is the biggest problem. And having that signal turned off is like, oh my God, I can hear quiet for once and not constantly worrying about when my next meal is going to come around. For some people, that is amazing. However, the weight that people lose, and this has now been reported in quite a lot of studies and trials, is actually muscle mass along with the fat, that directly lowers their resting metabolic rate. This does not get discussed when on these peptides because it's all about money and financial incentive. But I've got a study here. But in these trials like Step One and Sermon, they found like 35 to 45% of the total weight lost on Manjaro was from lean mass. So this means, guys, that someone losing about 20 pounds, so roughly what, 9 to 10 kilos, they could lose up to 7 to 9 pounds, 3 or 4 kilos of muscle, because muscle is metabolically active tissue. And this then drops and reduces the calorie burn, often by 3 to 500 calories a day. And as a result, when users stop that medication and they return back to old eating habits, because I've seen this with people coming on board this month who've been on these and doing their bloods, is they return back to their newer, slower metabolism because they can't handle the same intake that caused that rapid weight gain. And they didn't resistant train, they didn't strength train, and this rebound is becoming more and more common and well more documented. So, because the doses are set too high, Mark, like we said earlier, so we did backtrack and park it for that reason. But yeah, 5 milligrams, even 7.5, 10 milligrams by like week 4, these doctors are getting over this. Like, it's way too much, isn't it? Overprescribing, too high dosed. It requires more higher dependency with all these other side effects. So, I always ask, well, what's the correct dosages? Well, it's person dependent, isn't it, Mark? Like you said there with a business partner.
Very much. So, there's one caveat to that. Semaglutide and tirzepatide will cause the muscle loss. Retatrutide won't cause the muscle loss.
Yes.
Of the glucagon receptor, so it's going to upregulate energy. It's going to make you want to do things. So where semaglutide and tirzepatide is going to reduce calorie intake, which is going to make you nutrient deficient, mineral deficient, and all those other kinds of deficiencies, and osteoporosis and all those other types of things, pancreatic issues, thyroid issues, hormone issues, liver issues, eye issues, brain issues, you name it. And there's now studies coming up with potential cancer risk with them as well.
Yeah.
Retatrutide doesn't do that. It upregulates. It actually keeps lean muscle mass. So it's lean muscle mass sparing is probably the best way of putting it. So if you are on any of these, you should be at the gym. There is just no question in my mind. You need to be at the gym 3 times a week, strength training. That's what you need to be doing because you need to maintain your muscle when you're on these things. The other thing you have to think about is you are going to be lacking in so many cofactors and nutrients. It's insane because you're not going to be eating food. So you need to make sure you're getting those in. Otherwise, you are going to become mineral and nutrient deficient. Big problem.
Yeah.
Next thing to add to that is this. Most people's weight reduction isn't all related to the reduction of calories. Most people have a food problem because they have food noise. Now, all of the GLP-1s will do this, but the strongest one that's been studied to do this is semaglutide. A 250 microgram dose once a week will crush food noise. Plus, and this is the most interesting thing about it, is it does this through the addiction dopamine pathway in the brain. So if you are addicted to food, sex, porn, drugs, shopping, Netflix, doesn't matter what your addiction is, you will crush those addictions on 250 micrograms of semaglutide once a week. And that's from like the University of Minnesota or somewhere like that, or University of Massachusetts or something. But that's where they did that study. So if somebody comes to me, I have a client, doesn't need to lose weight, but she has considerable food noise. 250 micrograms of sema. Simple. That's it.
Yeah.
And the food noise is gone.
Yeah.
Completely.
But if it's sort of if you're someone who wants to lose body fat, keep your muscle, reduce the food noise, retatrutide, it kind of destroys. I think, like we were saying, destroys all the competition out there because
It's massively.
Yeah, it works on glucagon, doesn't it? So glucagon for fat metabolism.
Glucagon receptor, it's GIP, which is the insulin side of things, insulin secretion, and the GLP. But what's interesting about retatrutide is that low doses will actually increase hunger because of the metabolic switch that it turns on. Because of the glucagon receptor, it will actually increase appetite, but it will also burn more. So theoretically, a lot of bodybuilders use this in their pre-comp. because they will reduce waist size, because that's another thing that retatrutide does. It tightens the waist. It will reduce waist size. It will increase energy expenditure, and you can theoretically eat the same amount of calories, and you will still lose body fat. So
Mm.
you're going to maintain, reduce waist size, reduce body fat, but have a massive amount of energy expenditure.
Sure. Yeah, it's pretty
Literally,
good.
literally bodybuilder heaven, because they can take this pre-comp, get themselves into great shape in half the time. So rather than doing 20 weeks, you can do it in 8
Yeah,
or
yeah.
10.
And anyone who's a bit confused as to what is like you've talked about glucagon and glucose, how they work. Basically, glucagon and glucose, they work together to regulate our blood sugar, but they have the opposite roles. So glucose is the sugar, the fuel, circulating in our blood, guys. Glucagon is a pancreatic hormone that raises low glucose levels by signaling the liver to break down stored glycogen into glucose. So if you're trying to get the best of both worlds, slimmer waist and less food noise, keep your muscle mass, look into the research of retatrutide as
Yeah,
well.
100%.
Because these, and also Mark, because maybe that's where we're going to head as well with how to sort of access all this. You really want to be reconstituting them yourself, don't you? Rather than these pens. But can you get like a pen, a retatrutide, or not?
You can.
You can.
Okay, so this is the kind of worms that we were speaking about before. So
Yeah.
I noticed this about I noticed this about 2 months ago, that there were hundreds of peptide companies are springing up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because you've now got tons of labs in China producing these peptides synthetically in their labs for pennies on the dollar, which means if you're buying to the cost of them, it would be like $2, $3, $5 for a vial. So that would then you're now getting 10, 20 milligrams of something like retatrutide for like maybe $5, and you're now
Yeah.
selling it for like $70, $80. So the markup's insane. But the problem is with that is you're getting the lab sending you their own third party, it's not third party, but third party tested certificate of analysis showing that it's 99% pure. Okay, cool, but where's the metals testing? Where's the
Yeah.
bacteria endotoxin tests? Well, there aren't any. And if I was a lab making my own peptides and doing my own lab certificate of analysis, I'm not going to put a shit certificate of analysis up there going, oh, look, my retatrutide is only 60% pure. Come and buy it off me.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
to doctor it. I'm going to change it. And I'm going to go into Canva and I'm going to change it 99.9%. I'm going to change the date from 4 years ago to now. And boom, there's my certificate of analysis. And this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with that is it's not controlled. Where if we go into the pen side of things, initially pens only came from GMP certified facilities. So
Yeah.
like a GMP compounding pharmacy. Pens are now coming from the same Chinese labs with no GMP facility, no medically licensed part of it at all. Which
Yeah.
means these pens that are coming, you don't know if they've reconstituted it with bacteriostatic water or some other sterile solution or something else. You just don't know. And there's
Yeah.
no way of testing it yourself unless you want to buy a £160 pen and send that pen off for testing for another £300.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that. So you're just going to like inject it. Because again, one of my friends messaged me going, my mate's selling all these pens, blah, 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 blah. She's making a killing. I'm going to do it. And I said, don't do it. And she went, why? I said, because that's a multi-level marketing company. What's wrong with that? I said, because it's the same as fucking Herbalife. I was like, they're shit. They don't care about the product. They care about the money they make. This
Yeah.
isn't the way to go. Like, you don't know what you're buying here. The reason why those pens are cheap is because they're shit.
So it's very worrying, isn't it? It's very worrying.
It's worrying. And again, I was telling you the story beforehand, so I'll tell the story now. So I've been injecting peptides since 2016, so it's been 10 years. I've lost count with the amount of times I've injected myself. I got some peptides from somewhere else as a test to see what this company was like. It was tesamorelin, which is a growth hormone secretagogue, and ipamorelin. I've taken growth hormone, I've taken Tessa, I've taken CJC, I've taken all of them. The only one out of all of them that ever caused a slight change in me was CJC, and that can happen from time to time where you inject it and it increases your heart rate. That happens sometimes with CJC, but I've had no reactions to them at all. I injected 600 micrograms of Tessa just as a test, because normally it's like a milligram, but I did 600 micrograms of Tessa, 150 micrograms of IPA in the same syringe, cleaned the vials with an alcohol wipe, cleaned my hands with an alcohol wipe, used different needles to do the mixing, used a different needle to do the draw, cleaned myself, injected. The second it went in, I knew something was wrong straight away, because I had this full body flush. I just got hot instantly, and I was like, oh no. I looked down at where I injected, and the size of a 50p piece, I had a red welt instantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, here's the crazy thing. Anywhere I've injected on my body before, bearing in mind I do TRT as well, so I inject intramuscular into my delt and I inject intramuscular into my glute, but sometimes I use my glute to do sub-Q as well. So nowhere that I'd done intramuscular, but only the areas that I'd ever injected subcutaneously on my body, which is my right hip, right side of my ab, left side of my ab, left hip, left glute, right glute. All of it. It just blew up. Every part of me. There wasn't like a circle. There was just like a big welt, big welt, big welt, big welt, big welts. And this was at 10 o'clock at night, and I am feeling flush. And I'm thinking, crap, this is a histamine reaction. Something's in this that there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
My body's now reacting to this. What's that? Beat the NHS number. I can't remember what the number is. 101 or whatever it is. 111. Called that. Spoke to them, said to them, this is what's happened. What's a peptide? I'm like, you're fucking shitting me. I'm like, love, I'm having.
Oh God.
I'm about to explain to you what a fucking peptide is. I was like, all you need to know is this is like anaphylactic shock. What am I supposed to do? Oh, well, we can't get an ambulance to you for a good 3 hours. I could be swallowing my tongue by then. What do you want me to do? Well, you're just going to have to wait. Have you got any antihistamine? I've already fucking taken all the antihistamine I'm allowed to take in one bloody shot. Do you think I'm stupid? Of course I have. I was like, I need to find out if this is going to fucking kill me. Send somebody. Anyway, they couldn't send anybody. I went to sleep, woke up. All the areas had gone down apart from the side that I injected. That was still red and sore. After about 2 weeks, it all went away. I didn't inject anything other than my TRT up until that point. I then continued on with my peptide regime from the peptides that I've got, that I know are clean, that I know are pure. All I did was take a BPC 500 microgram shot. It's about that much. Opposite side, because I didn't want to aggravate this side. So opposite side, injected it, red welt. And I was like, fuck. Didn't inject again for like 3 weeks. Took another peptide, completely different. Mitochondrial peptide, SS31. Can cause a little bit of a site reaction, but not a histemic reaction. Injected it into my glute. In a completely separate place. Boom, red welt. And I was like, fuck. So what's happened there is, because it was an immune reaction, my body has tagged all of those places where I had injected before as a potential issue.
Right.
So from that point, I have stopped injecting all peptides that I've got. I've tried a pen from a GMP facility, so it's medically licensed, not a problem. But for some reason, these other peptides now, I can't take them. So
Interesting.
this conversation that I was having with a friend of mine about a couple of months ago, I said, I see this industry changing.
Yeah.
Becoming a little bit like it was back in 2016, where you've got this black market Reddit forum type thing going on. We're getting all these companies popping up. Everything's coming in from China. It's all cheap as shit. I was like, I can see this being quite dangerous. I was like, I don't want to be part of this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be doing this. Like, I know the stuff that I've got is pure, so I'm happy to sell that to other people. I'm not taking it not because it's not good, but because I react to it. So I'm like, right, I'm going to sell all of this, and now I'm just going to transition just into medical pens. That's all I'm going to sell from a peptide perspective, is oral blends and pens. That's The pens are more expensive, but they're medically licensed. They're coming from higher than a GMP facility, and they're coming from a compounding pharmacy that specializes in oncology, cancer. So they're rigorous when it comes to testing, like
Sure.
beyond rigorous. So when you look at these pens, they don't just have the certificate of analysis proving how pure it is. They've also got, are there metals in there? Are there bacteria in there?
Interesting.
Is there
Yeah.
LPS in there, like lipopolysaccharides? Is that in there? Is
Yeah.
there anything in there that shouldn't be in there? It tells
Well,
you from the lab.
credit to you, dude, because this is something that is going to come up more and more and more, isn't it? A lot more people, and you hear stories on BBC. Woman dies from taking off the market weight loss jab. Why? Again, same thing. Possibly didn't do a due diligence. Got it off someone off Facebook Marketplace and took it as gospel. Well, it worked for us. It's got to work for me. I'll try anything. And when you are desperate, when you are in pain, or we just want our health, right? We do stupid shit. But kudos to you to pivoting, and that's the conversation is sort of moving that way, isn't it? Where you've already spotted the trends, it's already getting a little bit more competitive, but for the wrong reasons. It's sort of what was going to be some amazing medicine, because it's helped heal
That's
like
incredible.
particular
It's incredible.
peptides that that I've used, and I will talk about these openly because again I've injected them myself. I have had clients as well on the guidance of you, Mark, that have also reached out, that have also used these for old injuries. They have done amazing things for me. However, it's really sad to see, and I'm not surprised as well that people like to scrimp and save where they can to make a profit.
I understand.
Reed, yeah, comes in. They aren't doing their due diligence. They're not getting it tested through third party companies. They aren't doing rigorous testing for heavy metals, and it's going to become more and more and more popular. So well done to you for
Thank you, brother.
going down that direction of, and also, it would be more attractive to me to do, because they are amazing if done correctly, and you do know, and you can explain what they do before you take them. If you don't know the mechanisms of what they do, then you shouldn't be taking them. But that's the world we live in. We want a quick fix. We've got Amazon Prime, Deliveroo at the click of our fingers.
Convenience
You know,
vouchers.
how do you know if that food has not been contaminated and been kicked around on the driver's side floor, or coughed up, and you've now are eating that with your family? You don't know, really, do you? Unless you cook it yourself and source the food and all that stuff. Same with peptides. But taking a pen is quite exciting, because it is a ball lake, Mark, isn't it? These
It's,
peptides, like the
it's
reconstituted, basically, you have like a vial of bacto, if I'm
bacteriostatic
pronouncing,
water.
bacterial water, and then you have the peptide. You've got to mix the two. It's a bit like you're baking a cake, isn't it? With these little vials in your fridge. And at first, I was really nervous. I got Mark on the call, and bless him, he took the time to have like a conversation with me. We were an hour. Me going, Mark, is this right? Like, then you get the dial, then you get your insulin needle, and then you got to squeeze the fat and inject it in. It's all new to me, and it did some amazing results, but it was a faff, Mark, isn't it? Like, I call you the biohacking boss. Of all these different peptides on the go. I do this epinephrine for that. I do that GBG for me, my skin. I do my BPC after training. I do a bit of this, do a bit of that. It must become a fucking nightmare to do this every day.
It
So
does.
to have a pen just to click, 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 got the right dose, whoop, and I can live my life. Off we go. Is a bit more attractive, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And the needles are a lot shorter. You don't feel it at all. Like, you
Yeah.
don't feel an injection anyway,
Oh
but
no.
there are a lot of different needles. So you've got like 27 gauge, 25 gauge, 30 gauge, 32 gauge, 8 mils, quarter mils, like quarter inch, half inch, 12 mil. You've got all these different ones to do different things, to do different parts of the body. Like if you're doing like a shallow intramuscular, you can get a 27 gauge. If you're doing a full intramuscular, you can, in the glute, you can do like a 25 gauge. If you're doing subcutaneous, you want to be looking at like maybe 28 gauge, 30 gauge, 32, depending on how much body fat you've got. Like if you're lean as shit, you want a 32 gauge, because you don't want to be injecting into anything other than body fat. Where if you've got a lot of body fat, where the 27 gauge, 28 gauge, because you've got more body fat to go through, so that subcutaneous layer is thicker. Well, I'm 8.4% body fat. So using a fucking 27 gauge, 26, 28 gauge needle for me, if I do that, I'm going straight into my abdominal wall. So like, I'm not going to be doing that. So with these pens, the needles are very small. It's almost like a gnat's bite is how it feels. And on the dial, if you get the right pens, some of the pens just have numbers, which is not helpful. The proper pens actually have the dosage on the dial. So as you click it, it'll be like 250 micrograms, 500 micrograms, 750 micrograms, 1 mil. Like you get 1 milligram, you get to choose, and that's easy. And it's literally just click, 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 skin, press the button, bosh, take it out, needle off, needle in the sharp spin, replace the needle for the next one. Nice and simple. Yes, it means if you're taking like multiple peptides, you need to have multiple pens, but it's no different from having multiple vials and having to reconstitute multiple vials and then having to have, I don't know, 2 boxes, 200 needles so you can keep going. I think it was like this time last year, like when I was doing my growth, I was doing my IGF-1, I was doing my BPC, my TB, my KPV, my SS31, my this, and then on top of all of that, all the other things that I was injecting, like I was injecting L-glutathione, I was injecting L-carnitine before training. L-carnitine's intramuscular. I prefer it anyway, intramuscular, but again, burns like a motherfucker. Thione is subcutaneous, and again, depending where you get it, it can burn or not. GHK burns, you get pip off GHK because of the fact that it's a copper, so it burns when it
remember that? Yeah, that was fun.
You know, like it just got to that point where I was like, I'm pinning like 5-6 times a day, and then on top of that, I've got my TRT where I'm taking that with the HCG at the same time, so I'm doing that 3 times a week, and I'm just like, fuck, like I'm getting bored of all of this. Like this is insane.
Yeah, where do I get to live? Where do I get to? Yeah.
Bring all these things to take them and spacing them out and how far apart and da. So I was like, you know what, no, fuck this. Like I can't be bothered to keep doing it. So I just think now it's just like cycles of these things. Like, do I need BPC? Okay, I do. Do I need to inject it? Not really. I can probably take it orally. If I want some more neural inflammation control, I can do it nasally. Same with like an SS31, mitochondrial peptide. It's great when you inject it because it works with the cardiolipin and cell membrane integrity and all that stuff, which is great. But I can also use it intranasally because I've got a shit ton of mitochondria in my brain. So I can take that intranasally if I want to. There's a lot of ways of doing these things. GHK, you can inject it and you get all the systemic inflammatory control. You get all the repair. You get all the stem cell proliferation. But then I can apply it topically. On my skin. And that way then I'm going to get nice reduction of wrinkles and lines and things. Like there's KPVs, the same. Great anti-inflammatory, great for candida and gut health if you take it orally or an injection. But again, if you've got something like psoriasis, eczema, you can put it on topically. It's great for those things too. So they've all got different applications, but I think with all of these things, people have to ask themselves, why am I taking it?
Yeah.
What am I taking it with and when? Like all these things matter really badly.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the purity of your source, do not buy it. Don't buy it. This is coming from somebody that was gung-ho. Like when I first started doing peptides, I'm buying them off a dude off Reddit. Like I didn't know what the fuck was in them. All I know is that I'd broken my rib. I had 3 weeks to recover till I had to run a marathon. And at that moment, I couldn't breathe. So not 3 weeks. I had 8 weeks. No, 4 weeks. So I had a marathon and I couldn't breathe. I was like, because I just couldn't expand. Just pinched the subcutaneous layer of fat on my ribs, just injecting BPC and TB500 into my skin. Did it in 3 weeks, went around a marathon. I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
I also think there's rate limits with these things. So like when I take BPC 157 now, I don't get the same response. I generally don't. I generally don't get the same response anymore. Not as much as I used to at all. Same with other peptides. Like I just don't get that same response anymore now. That's not to say they don't work. You know, like when I had my surgery and I was intramuscularly injecting BPC, TB500, GHK, and human growth hormone every single night, not in the same vial, into my delt so that I could repair my arm quickly. 2 weeks, I'm in the surgery, like in the surgeon's office, like, look at my arm, it's fucking great. And he's like, holy shit, how did you do that? So I knew it worked then.
Hocus pocus.
Exactly. Magic, baby. But I just think all of these things.
Abracadabra.
Do your due diligence because you only have one body, only one, and you don't want to be injecting things into the body that shouldn't be injected into the body. Simple as that. Same way that you wouldn't eat something that you shouldn't eat. Like you wouldn't sit down and eat, I don't know, like you wouldn't drink gone off milk. Like you just wouldn't.
No.
You wouldn't have like an off egg and eat that. Just don't do these things to yourself. You've got
Yeah.
one body, you've got one approach with all of these things, and the one thing we can't escape is being inside our body. So like
Yeah.
anytime these things happen, you've just got to be careful of where you're getting these things from and where you're sourcing them from. It's the same as buying a cheap supplement off TikTok shop and actually getting it from a reputable supplement company. One
Yeah.
company's third party tested, like we know the guys Love Life Supplements, Ben and all those guys, all certified. Every single one of their supplements is certified to be exactly what it says on the tin. TikTok creatine gummies, you don't know what the fuck's in that.
No.
You haven't got a clue. It's got some really cool name and a picture of an alpha animal on the front. Oh, it must be great at games.
Yeah. Yeah. This is
Wouldn't
it.
catch me doing that shit at all.
Yeah. This is the sad truth. But again, that was epic, and hopefully that's covered.
Yes.
The peptide craze at the minute is an amazing industry, and Mark's leading the forefront as
Trying
always.
to, trying to. You know, it's been difficult. I've had
Yeah,
all,
absolutely.
all of my payment providers have all pulled out. So I've had to
Yeah.
find a new payment provider now that specializes in peptides. So it just means UK and Europe we can make payments, but international they still got to do bank transfer or PayPal because no international company is willing to do it. It's not going to be like this forever. Like RFK has literally just pushed this thing through in the government where they want to declassify all the FDA unapproved peptides from the type 2 category list, like BPC, AOD, CJC. Wants to pull them all off that list because he wants them available for everybody. But
That's America, though, isn't it? I mean, I found this because I wanted to use them to help with my training. So, if you guys are avid listeners, you will know that I did a bodybuilding competition last year as a natural. I'm still a natural, and on the WADA, so like the banned substances list, as part of my competition, there were certain peptides that I wasn't allowed to take, and it's a real shame. But it gives you a competitive edge. One of them was BPC 157, which I was gutted about because that would have been, with the whole dieting, the soreness, pushing through. Like I was training 6 days a bloody week, Mark. Training 4 days resistantly, and then 2 fucking hour and 90-minute sessions of cardio. And when you're already on restricted allowance of calories, not to have a little bit of support just to help you recover so you can do it all again the next week was a real shame,
But I do think, though, if the FDA clear them, you'll start seeing that maybe WADA would be a little bit more lenient on these things. But all it means, though, is it's going to move it from, once they stop being banned, it will move it from a black market perspective into a pharmaceutical perspective, which means it's compounding pharmacies, which means it's more expensive, which means it's available through prescription. And all of a sudden, now Big Pharma's got control over peptides. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Big companies are making those shifts now. One of the biggest ones in the States has just moved over to telemedicine. So they no longer provide research lab peptides. They will only be doing compounding pharmacy, which means it has to be done through a doctor prescription, same as where it is in Australia. That's how it's all going to start going. But unfortunately, from my call that I had with like the NHS, what's a peptide? That's
we're miles behind, aren't we, here in the UK?
You're going to go to the doctor and they're going to go, oh, well, we could prescribe you peptides, but we don't really know much about them. There's not much clinical evidence.
Yeah.
Well,
Fucking
no.
creatine.
There's like 15 years of anecdotal evidence. So how about we go with that instead? It's going to be controlled, unfortunately. So I'd rather be at the front of it and be supplying premium grade pens, which people can utilize, and then the supporting things that go along with it, than be mixed into this black market underground China crap, which I can't be bothered with. I can't be bothered. It's too much effort for me. It really is. And it just goes to show how difficult it's becoming. The supplier that I use from the UK to get my peptides. So it's a UK supplier. It takes 3 weeks for me to get the peptides normally. The last order I put in is 8 weeks Monday, and I've only received a quarter of the amount that I've ordered. It's becoming that difficult to get hold of.
Because they're doing more checks before they're doing more due. Right, yeah.
So these labs that are making them, these compounding pharmacies, are getting stopped and checked and investigated, and this is a problem. And that's
Mark, here's what you got to do. Just go partner up with one of the terrible. I'm saying this. Just go in town. Go in your local town. Go to a local vape shop. Set up there. They get away with murder in there, literally murder in
True,
there.
it's true. And believe it or not, the payment provider that I have now got, which enables me to sell peptides and take payment, they deliberately set themselves up to sell vapes, peptides, and CBD. They're the three industries that they're in because vapes have issues with payment, CBD companies have issues with payment, and peptides companies have issues with payment.
Jesus.
It's fucking madness, dude. All to have sovereignty over your own health. I think we are in an age where I do not need a government to tell me what I can and cannot do with my own body. It is my right. If I want to inject bee venom, that is my fucking choice, not yours. You have no
Yeah.
rights to choose that. Like that's
Yeah.
that's not acceptable. You know, I was listening
Yeah.
to this woman who owns this really big laser company to do with skin and stuff, and she was like, "Oh, you know, we can't sell the laser that we use in our labs because it's some really high spec cold fusion laser which could theoretically blind you or set your house on fire. Granted, that needs to be controlled because you know you don't want to have one of these lasers in your house and then all of a sudden your dog knocks it and you know cuts its own legs off.
Cyclops of X-Men.
Right? But when it comes to what I can eat, what I can drink, what I can smoke, what I can take, what I can inject, it's none of their fucking business. It's my body. I should
No.
be able to inject what the hell I like. You know,
Yeah.
doctors aren't, and this is interesting, right? Because when this health thing came up a couple of weeks ago, and I called my doctor and I said, "Look, I haven't needed this for like years. I need this now because this is what's happening." Well, you're going to have to come in and you're going to have a serious talk because you know. I was like, "Look, how old are you?" She went, "Oh, I'm 31." I said, "I'm 45." I said, "Don't tell me what I need to do with my body." I said, "You're not here to dictate to me what I do with my body. You are my GP. I have this on a prescription. I haven't used the prescription in years because I don't fucking need it, but I need it right now." I was like, "You are either going to hold yourself to that Hippocratic oath or you're not." I said, "So you either provide me with the prescription or I make a claim against you." I said, "It's totally up to you. What do you want to do?" Within 24 hours, I had the prescription ready at the chemist. They're
Well,
not there
like
to
I remember you said this in the episode one. And it's so true. All the conspiracies that we might have touted on the 10-minute tinfoil hat takeover, they come to light. Its health is becoming more elitist
Yep, it
every
is.
year. You
It
know,
is.
everyone just wants to have a healthier, happier, more fulfilling life, and just wants to have the freedom of choice. And that freedom of choice is being stripped away. It really is.
Yep, and it's being done blatantly as well. And that's the
Yeah,
thing. People
yeah.
aren't aware of that, but it is crazy, crazy how quickly that's been
They do
stripped.
it with mushroom, don't they? They banned fucking lion's mane. No, cordyceps mushroom,
Cordyceps.
haven't they?
People are still selling it. You still buy it.
Yeah,
You know,
good. I still take it. I don't care.
supplement.
Until I get a and until I get a knock on the door from my local police force. Oh, are you Joe Ison? Yeah.
Ha!
We heard you're checking cordyceps mushroom. You have to come with us, please. Yeah.
Now, before we arrest you, we're just going to check in on the paedophile that lives next door. We're just going to make sure that they're okay.
Oh
We've got
no, he's all right. We gave him we let him off with just a red
we let
warning.
him off, but you're
You'll
coming
come with us.
7 years.
You're putting too many Insta stories of your limitless coffees. You're coming with
Mate, honestly, like I saw a stat the other day.
us.
Like for arrests of social media, we are something like I think again, I might have this wrong, but we're up in like the 17,500 people that have been arrested for social media compared to the next one down, which is Russia. And they are like on like 2,000 or something stupid. Like that's an obscene amount of people being arrested because they've just typed up there, "Oh, Starmer's a prick." Yeah, well, we all know that. So why are you arresting him for it? You know, he's not lying. He's telling the fucking truth. So why are you arresting him? It's
Yeah, here
mad.
you go. Yeah, fact check. So the 12,183 arrests for online.
12,000.
Yeah, that's 2026, 14th of January. Fact checker online.
And they're getting longer sentences. Dude, they're getting longer sentences. So there was an article in the paper. These two guys, one was with his daughter. A immigrant tried to kidnap his daughter in front of him at a playground or something. They beat the guy up. They got arrested. They got charged. He didn't.
Yeah,
What the
yeah,
fuck is going on?
yeah. But we know what's going on.
Well, we do. We do.
Yeah, they're testing. It's all a game of chess, isn't it? It's like they want us divided. They want our attention to go, swing both sides, so we're blissfully unaware. The rule that the message has always been this from me and Mark, guys. Focus on what you are doing. Be awake, be alert. Be open-minded, but also
Everything.
yeah, question everything. But above all else, remain poised. It's very easy, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, to lose yourself, get really angry, get very frustrated in how the world is going with wars going on, bombs dropping. It's very, very important. And as I am not blissfully unaware of what's going on, but control your mind, build the moat around you.
You can't do anything about it, can you?
No, control what you can control. We have control over this
Yep.
and our decision making and our
Exactly.
environment
Exactly.
and the people we love. That's all that matters is focus on yourself.
Just minimize how much of this you take in. It's not just the 5 people that you surround yourself with. It's what you listen to. It's what you see. It's what you involve yourself in. Where attention goes, energy flows. Don't bother yourself with the things that you can't control. But if it happens to pop up on your feed, don't take what you're seeing in the mainstream media as gospel.
No.
Question it, because the incentive dictates the outcome. It's quite strange how literally weeks after the Epstein files get released, we've all of a sudden got this World War thing going on. Quick shift away of attention because not a single fucking person on that list has been arrested, spoken to, interviewed, tried, put in prison. Nothing. Nothing. There's a whole list of satanic paedophiles on there. Nothing's happened. But you make a slight social tweet and you're in prison, and oh, look, there's a war. Oh. Distraction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huh?
But on that lighter note, Mark, where can people, distracting the listeners now, where can we go to outsource high quality peptides from someone like yourself? Where do we go?
So for the time being, my company is called Rhythm Peptides. Rhythm as in music. So you can go to rhythmpeptides.com. We have got more peptides coming in stock. The rest of them are arriving next week. I've just had a restock in literally 2 days ago of BBC 157, CJC 1295, SS31. They're not on the website yet because I'm waiting for the 3D renders to update the site, so they'll be up there soon. Next week I'll be getting Thymosin Beta 4, the remaining part of my SS31, the Backwater 77, which is a oral form of a growth hormone peptide. It's probably one of my favorites, if I'm brutally honest. They'll be coming in soon as well. The payment system is all sorted, so they're all available on the site. Might even get put together a little Revitalize Your Life podcast discount code up there. I might just put like Revitalize Your Life 10 or something to give you guys 10% off. I'll sort that out later today. But that's where you can go. For red lights, you can go to Rhythm Red Light. We are actually going to put a sale on our site now. We're going to put like 25% off across the whole range. So that way then people can enjoy the benefits of our red lights. And we're slightly different because our red lights have something called pulsed electro frequency involved. So basically we have a 10 hertz, 20 hertz and 40 hertz pulsed frequency that you can switch on. Don't do it when the red light, the bright red light is on, because it looks like a Polish disco from the 90s. Only just turn the red light off, put the infrared on, and then put the pulsed frequency on. 40 hertz has just actually been found in studies to increase longevity, reduce hallmarks of aging, reduce inflammation. It's a gamma frequency, so it upregulates neurological connections, so it increases neuron firing and BDNF and all that other type of stuff. It's very good for Alzheimer's and dementia and things. So that's what we're going to do. We've got a big panel, we've got a slightly smaller panel. So we're going to put a sale on there, but that's rhythmredlight.com. You can go there and get those.
Hell yeah.
And then there will be a rebrand coming up for the peptide company.
Exciting.
And we'll
Exciting, dude.
some new things. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I'm going to get involved. But we'll talk off air in a short while. But thank you for listening, guys. Hope you found it useful. And we look forward to having our next guest on, which we're going to sort out now. And yeah, and
like, share, subscribe, hype. comments, please. If you've got any questions about peptides of any kind, or if for some reason you can't type www.rhythmpeptides.com into your Google browser and find us, pop it in the questions, and I will answer them and we will guide you. And yeah, just make sure to share this around with everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, and stay
blessed.
Speak soon.
Stay blessed, everybody.